Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 31st, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. The Saturday's going well. It's flowing well for me so far. Haven't done too much, but I did wake up pretty early. I will say I slept pretty good, so we like that. That's a good balance. And we got to get up and more or less we went straight to the gym. I kind of watched a little bit of like a Tekken tournament. I was, drinking my little energy drink real quick in the morning, which can kind of feel weird. But I mean, at this point, for as many energy drinks as I've consumed in my life, drinking one before, around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that's not the craziest thing I've ever done. So we got to the gym pretty early though. And, spent a couple hours in there. It was a good workout. Not to say that last night was bad, because I was thinking about it after the episode, and I was like, you know what, Isaiah, you were doing all this hemming and hawing, but you deadlifted 225. So why are we crying? It wasn't as many reps as you wanted. Like, be happy. It's a heavy lift day. That's gonna happen. So I came into it with a good mind, and not to mention not 8 hours of work under my belt, top of the day. So like it just was a much better. Oh, and I got my Smith machine, so everything was good. Everything came out rosy. Like it was a nice, good heavy lift session. We love that. Yeah, everything just kind of went. It flowed. It went boom to boom to boom to boom, and that's what we like. After that, we came home and we've kind of just been chilling, kind of hanging out. My stomach's kind of been in and out. I'd say that's been the only problem so far, but it's okay. Nothing too wild. I didn't eat anything too crazy, so I'm not really paying any crazy price, at least not yet. But yeah, so, we've had a good Saturday. We had a good Friday night. Let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Let's get right to it. I will say it was kind of fun. I ran into my neighbor the today, and I guess I found out that he works out like really early in the morning, which I'm like, that's crazy. But I mean, hey, that is the beauty of having the Planet Fitness, membership, is that this thing is always open and you can just kind of get in where you fit in. But because I came in so early, he had seen me and I said, "What's up?" And he acknowledged me, but then he did like a double take and he's like, "Oh, hey man," like he understood who I was. And that is something that I've growing to appreciate here, is I'm like, this is the closest my life has been to like an anime arc, and where I've changed a lot in a very short period. It feels like I'm in a constant like montage scene with myself, just going to the gym, pumping, hitting it, da 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 da. And then I just have these moments where people like don't recognize me. It's like, okay, yeah, you've lost some weight. You're making it happen. And he's like, yeah, man, you gotta like come on a morning or something, and I'll push you. I guess he's gonna teach me some things. I don't know. I've also realized too. This is maybe a little bit of a gripe. I'm definitely already at the point, like what, going on my 9 months. I don't really want to do. I don't need a personal trainer friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need someone to help me out. Like no, man, I'm on my program. I'm doing me and mine, okay? I mean, a helpful tip here and there, that's a-okay. I'm open, I'm receptive to that. But like I'm almost hesitant to like work out with people because like you're doing your thing, I'm doing mine. Like I don't necessarily want to, be critiqued or anything like that. I mean, if it's helpful, sure. I definitely know I have things I could always work on, especially with like my form or whatever. But like it almost gets down to a point where we're talking like different fitness ideologies sometimes, and I just don't want to do that with somebody, especially someone who I don't talk to very often. Like that's my neighbor, and y'all know, or maybe can establish, I'm not very neighborly. You know what I mean? So anyway, let me get to the startup. Still, it was cool to see him. I don't know. I might be coming off as like I didn't like the interaction, but it was funny. Okay. First story comes from NBC News. Supreme Court allows Trump to revoke temporary legal status of 500,000 immigrants from 4 countries. The Supreme Court on Friday allowed the Trump administration to revoke the temporary legal status of more than 500,000 immigrants that was granted by the Biden administration, making them subject to deportation. The court granted an emergency application filed by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem that ends the Biden program that gave 532,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela permission to temporarily live and work in the United States. The people directly affected by Friday's order may still have other avenues available to stay in the country, such as by applying for asylum, with their lawyers saying thousands have already sought to do so. The brief order, which does not explain the court's reasoning, noted that liberal justices Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sonia Sotomayor dissented. So, I mean, that's good that at least, you have at least 2 people who are like adamantly saying this was bad. This was kind of akin, though, to the story we covered in May 19th that was just focused on the Venezuelans. I want to say that was 350,000. So it's akin to that. That's why this story kind of felt like deja vu when I initially started reading it. But it's still unfortunate. It shows that Trump is not stopping. He's not just trying to make this some like south of the border thing. Like he is like, no, all immigrants. I'm saying all of them are criminals and they're bad and I want them out of here. I just want him gone, and you could say, no, that's not what he's saying, but that is how the actions wind up playing out here. You know what I mean? Because what is this accomplishing? You're trying to, once again, get at these people and get them kicked out of the country. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So it's unfortunate that the Supreme Court is giving him the green light, the leeway to do so, but I would not say that it is surprising to see this happen. Keeping with the Trump universe, let's go ahead and move to the next thing. From The Independent, Trump shrugs off claims about Musk's drug use, but the White House is happy to see him go. President Donald Trump brushed off allegations of Elon Musk's alleged drug use on the campaign trail, but the White House is happy to have him go, according to reports. As he was contributing millions to Trump's re-election bid, the world's richest person was allegedly using ketamine, ecstasy, psychedelic mushrooms, and Adderall, and traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, sources told the New York Times. The sources were unable to confirm whether his drug use continued as he led the Department of Government Efficiency. Let me put on my speculation hat here. Yeah, I think it fucking did, dude. Like, I think this dude has been hopped up the whole fucking time. Shit, I remember the one of the first times I actually, and this isn't me giving Musk any credit, but the first time I kind of realized, like, oh, ketamine's like kind of a casual thing now, huh? Like, I guess we're just taking these horse tranquilizers and just chilling on the couch now, huh? Is when I saw Elon Musk doing that shit. Like, I found out that was like a thing he just liked to fucking do. I'm like, oh, so you know what that means. If the rich people are doing it, guess what? I guarantee you we're going to have ketamine sessions or ketamine therapy sessions and sure shit. That's what you could find on billboards, at least like out in LA or out west or whatever the fuck in America. So it's like, okay, that's fun. That's cute. Isn't that neat? Like when someone really rich and quote, powerful does a fucking stupid thing, then all of a sudden we can kind of get on board with it a little easier. It's not as villainized now. But at the same time, I think it does put people off to see like someone in the Oval Office just zonked out of their fucking mind. I think it puts people off. I think it's a little unnerving for people. You're supposed to have that kind of like candor, like, like shit. What was it? JFK. I think he was on a bunch of drugs, right? That was alleged. He was fucked up. Well, it's for my back and my sex addiction. He made it work. He made it look nice until, boom, whatever. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, no, apparently he was on the sauce. He was fucked up. Maybe not the sauce, but the pills or whatever. There is another allegation too. Well, it's not an allegation. He addressed it because he had a black eye on this little send-off thing or whatever. And he said that he asked his son to punch him. Like his little son, Explorp or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Ether X Machina Deus, whatever the fuck his kid's name is. Aether Flux just fucking punched him in the face, I guess, and got a little shiner. At least that's the story he's saying. If I find out any more on this black eye incident, then I will definitely be talking about it. But upon Musk's departure from his role at Doge, the president downplayed the explosive report on Friday, saying he was not troubled by anything with Elon. Asked if he was aware of Musk's drug habits, Trump told reporters, "No, I wasn't. I think he's fantastic. I think Elon is a fantastic guy." I'm so glad that they're bromance. It's just gonna continue, and I almost didn't want to cover this shit because yes, like his time as a special government employee has reached its end. I think you're on a limit of 130 days. He's reached that. That being said, his effect on not just the administration, but on like the government, like America, like he's put his fingers into the shit. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. At his own detriment too, I guess. Like, you know, he's been even more vilified. People hate him even more. He's lost so much fucking money in terms of like Tesla earnings and whatnot because people are protesting and they're not buying anymore because they're like, dude, this guy fucking sucks. This guy's part of the reason I got fucking fired from my government job. Like, he's such a fucking loser. He's coming to my state with a fucking cheese head on telling me how to vote. Fuck this loser. And, you know, in Doge, like, he's been trying to rip and run, trying to fucking fix fraud, you know, get rid of it. But really, he just found a bunch of dead social security accounts and, like, bitched about it and went crazy about it. And it really hasn't done much. There might have been some money he saved America, but it's drops in the bucket. We're still severely in debt. And if anything, we've bled out more money and caused more harm to America because of his leadership, his stewardship. But I don't know if he's even going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, he's done with the actual title or the moniker. But he'll be around. You know what I mean? Shit, we can even just run this quote right here. This is from Daddy Trump himself. Elon's really not leaving. He's going back. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling, the president said Friday, referring to Doge. He continued, "It's his baby, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of things." Sorry, I kind of stutter-stepped through this. This unlocked a fucking thought in my brain. It was around the top of the week. I was at the gym, right? And I'm walking past one of the, I don't know what the area is called. I don't fucking go with it. But they got the battle ropes and the kettlebells and all the fucking shit you think Joe Rogan would do or whatever. It's that area of the Planet Fitness. And I'm walking past it. I see this lady. I see this woman. She's got on, like the pink little shorts or whatever. I can't remember the shoes. But the top is really what got my attention. It was a black shirt with Trump, like it was like a drawing, and it had like, I can't really like describe the lettering or the styling, but it said "Daddy's home," and I was like, it took everything in me not to just like stare at her because I was just so vexed by like what I was interpreting, and I'm like, who are you? Where? And this is probably one of them Hamilton motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, go off. By all means, welcome to your new temporary home, I guess, whatever. But like, wild, man. You see all types of people at the Planet Fitness. You really do. So many of them love Fox News. Anyway, sorry. I just said Daddy Trump and I activated my own fucking, like, memory. That's more or less really what I wanted to cover with that. So, you know, Elon's out with a little black eye. We'll see what he's going to do next. What's that rapscallion going to do tomorrow? Probably more drugs. I don't know. Maybe he's going to work, hit that Ozempic, get on that fucking shit. Maybe, I don't know, get his Gundam build body back. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. We'll find out. Find out in the next episode. Anyway, we are going to do recalls for the rest of the episode. I'm going to take a little quick water break. Why not? Hydration station. Oh, man, I will say, people watching at the gym is like, it's a good pastime. Anyway, from the Standard. U.S. tomatoes urgently recalled over reasonable possibility of death. So it's getting worse for the tomatoes. Tomatoes in the U.S. have been recalled as they present a reasonable probability of severe illnesses, or severe illness, or even death. The ongoing recall of tomatoes from Williams Farm Repack LLC has now been upgraded to a Class 1 recall by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. The company first recalled its tomatoes on April 30th over fears they were contaminated with salmonella at the time of the voluntary recall. The South Carolina based company said there were no related illnesses reported. The affected tomatoes were shipped to 3 U.S. states, namely Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. There were 53 pack trays of tomatoes distributed, as well as 77 10-pound boxes and 419 60-count 2-layer boxes. They got lot numbers. We're skipping past that. Customers should not dude, I hate when they do like a little glitch, dude. I'm just gonna read the sentence as it is here. Customers should not consume the tomatoes and should return them for a full refund. I'm sorry, that's probably an AI thing. I like every time I see something like this, I'm like, dude, I feel like almost bad for it. But it's like this, someone got paid to make this article, right? Like whether they plug it through an AI or not, whether it's like the site, whether it's the standard or not, like it's always like, damn, like, I mean, hey, whatever. I'm out here just doing it for free, though. Anyway, I mean, subscribe to the Patreon. Anyway, they did bump up the recall to a Class 1. I would say that's the biggest part of this story that I wanted to update on since last time. So it's not getting better for the tomato. I try not to let this shit bother me or affect how I make my purchases or move in my daily life, right? I try just to talk about the news and not let the news, like, be an all-consuming thing. I kind of want tomatoes though, and it is making me think: should I get tomato? Should I get a tomato? Am I cooked? Like, will I be in doo doo city? Like, am I gonna be in trouble if I do this? You know? And I mean, I'm fine. I think my immune system can handle it. Maybe, hopefully. Usually, salmonella is more of a problem if you're, you know, a little kid or, you know, elderly. You know, I'm 34. I probably could tank it. I probably would be all right. You know what I mean? But I'll probably also be fine. You know, I shouldn't let this shit bother me or, you know, overthink it. A recall is a recall is a recall. These things are going to happen. But yeah, speaking of the FDA, the CDC did come out and say, hey, we do recommend that your kids and pregnant women get the COVID vaccine. So, like, you should. We think you should, you know? So, also, the White House is like trying to kind of go through some of the shit that was said in the video that is kind of being like very loudly, obviously debunked. And they're like, oh, okay, oopsie, we made a little bit of a mistake there. You know, maybe RFK Jr. shouldn't have croaked that all out there, but whatever. Anyway, kind of just doing some meld in there. We have one more story. We got to talk about some bad gummies. You know, bad to some, though. I mean, these would be some. I don't know. I wouldn't mind stumbling on some of these Haribos. Anyway, let's do our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. Okay. Oh, once again from Local 12. Local 12's kind of been clutch lately. At least for, you know, at least for our little thing we got going here. Haribo announces major recall of gummies due to potential cannabis contamination. Now, this isn't a local story. I will say that. Sometimes I gotta mention that. But, you know, still, shout out to Local 12. This is actually out of Amsterdam. We're international, baby. Um, oh gosh, let me come back down to earth. Whew. Okay. A popular confectionery company has pulled bags of gummies due to a potential cannabis contamination. Oh no! Sorry. Haribo has pulled its Happy Cola Fizz and the I is replaced with an exclamation. gummies from the shelves after multiple members of a Dutch family reported a dizziness after consuming the soda bottle shaped snacks. Have we considered maybe they they were just too spicy for him? They just couldn't handle the fizz. No, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. These things could happen. After learning that the gummies had been potentially tainted with cannabis, Haribo issued a nationwide recall across the European country, the publication reported. The Netherlands Food and Consumer Product Safety Authority, the NVWA, told Dutch news outlet Hart van Nederland that the samples were taken and cannabis was found in them. Do not eat the sweets. So it was confirmed. I'm like I said, I'm joking a little too much. Haribo confirmed that it is working alongside authorities to investigate the contamination, adding that it appears to be only a single batch in the Netherlands was tainted, and none in any other country, per the Post. As a precaution, Haribo made the decision to pull all bags with the best date of January 2026 in the Netherlands. According to the publication, the company will also issue full refunds to all customers who purchased bags affected by the recall. I do love that, like, one of, like, the first comments or whatever was like, man, I need to go out and get me one of them. I'm like, you go off, girl. Hey, I love that shit. Anyway, I fuck with that energy. Obviously, that's no good to the family. You're just a little, little Dutch little family, and you just want to have your little sweet treat. Like, you weren't expecting an edible. Okay, I completely understand that, I can say this. I've been taken out by an edible or two. It is one of those where and I mean taken out. What I mean by it is I'm surprised. I'm surprised by it. So it's like I can't believe that. Like I'm feeling a type of way. This is almost feeling like psychedelic. Shit got me feeling like Elon Musk. No, but it's one of those things where sometimes it can surprise you, especially if you just thought you were eating normal candy. You know what I mean? That's something out of like a sitcom. So I'm glad everyone's okay. I'm glad everyone's all right. Hopefully no one else has any problems with some contaminated gummies. But I will say, if that landed on my lap, if I was eating some of them, I'd be having a good day. But anyway, that's all I have for today. If you'd like to help out support the effort, become a newsie today. The roll call is tomorrow. Ooh, yay. We do shout outs, if you'd like to. Plug your name, plug a project if you'd like, or whatever. It's like a little like mini billboard, almost like a cameo style thing. It's $5. It's really cheap. Once a month, whatever. You just get one. And then also access to old episodes. But yeah, really, it's just a tip jar. You're just helping out the effort. You're just being a cool guy, gal, MB, whatever. It's just a thing to do. Anyway, think about it. Free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any other socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. That's a free action. TikTok. Subscribe or follow Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Sharing is caring. That's a cool thing to do. It's all good for the algorithm. But I really just appreciate you tuning in. I really appreciate you being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.